Here we are. Live episode of episode 80 of the Trash Talk Business Podcast. So we tested this theory out 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Casey and I got on a live episode. And so we figured out the technology and we're pressing the button. So now our goal is to do one live episode a quarter, might change in the future. So this is an opportunity for our VIP listeners. Over the last year, we've been asking you guys to join the VIP group in Facebook with the expectation that someday it meant something. Well, here's that day. Today is the day it means something. So here we are. I'm Andy Weins. He's Casey Bubba Lawrence. And we are rolling out our quarterly update with Mr. Andrew Barten. So we don't do our normal, hey, we don't know who this person is bit, because this is Andrew Barton's third time now on the show, second time doing quarterly updates. So we bring him in because, well, we like experts in our field. You know, when I look at business, there's 6 buckets within business, and it goes marketing, sales, operations, the thing that you do, resources that are human, and the numbers. And everybody has a high 3 and a low 3. I know for me, my high 3 are sales, operations, and the numbers. So I need to find myself there people that are really smart on the things that I'm not really smart at. So I look at Andrew Barton as his strength is certainly marketing and doing the thing, running the junk removal game. So we bring him in along with Casey Bubba Lawrence. So let's talk about Q3 update, what you see, what you've seen in the market. Then we'll transfer it into how do we finish the year strong, and then let's jump into what do we need to do in the next 90 days so that 2024 is the best year ever. Andy Barton, let's take it from there.
All right, I think we should do one of these like ESPN talking heads thing. I'll run through this, and then should give us plenty of talking points, and hopefully your people that are chiming in here from the Facebook page will be able to jump in as well. So I think the economic conditions continue to be ambiguous. I think the second half of 2023, I'm dubbing it the end of the easy entrepreneur. Market saturation, micro versus macro. I hear a lot of people talking about market saturation. I'm not really sure it's saturated. I think it's become harder to get customers, so you need to pay attention to that. In my mind, market saturation would be a price war. It'd be low profit margins. I have not seen that on my scale. I think some of the guys that are less established may be experiencing that, but I like to use the real estate agents as my gauge. They come in quick and easy, no overhead, no equipment, quick education. We have seen a lot of those guys come and go. So I do think the real estate market is tight. I think it's going to stay tight for a little while. I think that does directly impact our business, but I don't think it's the end all be all. I think there's ways to overcome it. I think if you are a pop-up fly-by-night firm, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them, but if you're a guy that just kind of set it up quick and easy and you've been rolling through the last couple of years, you will now have to start to invest in marketing. Market or die. You're not going to be able to do it with non-organic. You're going to use non-organic growth. You're going to have to market. If you're not marketing, you're not going to get the business. You're not going to have a great profit margin doing that, but it's the only way you're going to stay in the game, I think, for the next 12 to 24 months. Make sure you understand your customer acquisition cost, have a pricing strategy, and make sure you have capacity and know how to use that in the best form possible. Right?
All right, well, here's the deal. I needed like 3 to 5 bullets this episode, and I've got like 7 banners. I'm learning how to type bullets as we go. So I already got easy come, easy go. The end of the easy entrepreneur, that's it. We already got a title. We are 3.5 minutes in and not even a half a cup of coffee, and we already have I like it. The end of the easy entrepreneur. All right. So let's talk about all those bullet points, because unlike ESPN, we don't have to kiss ass to sponsors. We are not on a time crunch, and we're not in the business of arguing with each other for arguing's sake. So let's talk about some of those things. Howdy from Richland, Texas, Facebook user. I can't see. I'm gonna have to find another window because it doesn't show me the names. I'll figure that out. I'll figure that out on my end. So let's dive into some of these things. All these great bullets. Okay. So what's the first step? Right. So you're saying 18, 24, where pop-up shops are gone. 12 to 18 months is going to fucking make or break you. So the one thing I heard though was market or die, right? And even taking a step back from that, it's customer acquisition cost. Understand it. That's what I put up. Let's talk to that bullet, because that's something you can do today so that you can market or die, right? That's a choice. And then, right, it no longer is easy. Simple, not easy. So let's talk about that. What do you mean by that? What does that look like to you? What can our listeners do today to make that happen?
So, Andy, I think just like you and Casey, I'm constantly talking to entrepreneurs, junk removal entrepreneurs across the country. And I think I think everybody's saying the same thing. They're down. They're hurting. They're having trouble getting to customers.
Mhm.
We have not experienced that personally, but we also have never taken our foot off the gas. We've never taken our finger off the pulse of where the business is, and we continue to market. And we market extensively, and we do it methodically and consistently. So that to me is what's important there. Get your name out there, and then once you start marketing, figure out how to measure that ad spend, and that ad spend is measured through your customer acquisition cost, and that just basically means okay, Russ. This is Russ Burry's favorite thing to talk about, but figure out how much money you're spending, how many customers you're getting from it, and that's a simple breakdown. Make sure you're getting a return on your investment.
So how do you right now track that? Right, let's break it down Barney style for our listeners. How do you track? I can actually hear myself. I'm figuring out how to respond to comments as we speak here. How do you track? Right, basic. How do you track where do you get your customers from, and then assign the customer acquisition cost across those different mediums?
Yeah, so that's a really good point. That'd be more of my wife Raven. She handles really breaking that stuff down. But the basic gist of how we do it is we tag our jobs through our CRM. I know you like Jobber. We use House Call Pro. Anybody that calls in, the first thing we ask them is their name and email, phone number, and then we ask them, how'd you find us? And we put all that information in our CRM, and we use those job tags to constantly track it. We also take that and we verify that information against tracking phone numbers. And I was talking to somebody the other day about using QR codes. You can put your QR codes now in Google Analytics, and you can track that information too to see who's scanning from where. There we go. Casey's got one right there on the back of his T-shirt.
Yeah.
So tracking phone numbers, Google Analytics, tracking your QR codes, and just simply asking the customer where they found you from and how it's working.
So you use individual. Okay, so yes, you will say yes. I do use Jobber. Jobber is a huge promoter of our podcast. I'm actually in Vegas, so you can tell my background is different. I'm in Vegas this week shooting season 2 of the Masters of Home Service podcast along with Jobber. That's why I love Jobber. Not only have they created a software as a service, a tool, an operations tool, they're out here supporting and promoting small business ownership, especially in the in-home services space. So that's why I love Jobber. I got my Jobber Yeti. Actually, speaking of QR codes, there's a QR code on the bottom of my Yeti, and I scanned it because I wanted to see how big this thing was. My thought is probably 32 ounces, and you can register your Yeti. Like that's some rich white people shit. Like what happens? Like if a Yeti gets found at a scrapyard, like they call you. I don't know what that's all about. Registering your Yeti.
Andy,
I'm not sure about all that.
let me tell you real quick.
Hold on, Andy we gotta. I also gotta play with
Andy Weins.
Andy. Okay, here we go. See, I'm also playing with the screen to see. There we go.
All right, so this has nothing to do with junk removal, but everything to do with customer service.
Okay.
I bought one pair of badass shoes 2 years ago. They were waterproof on cloud running shoes. Okay. About a month ago, the sole started kind of separating. Rendering it not waterproof anymore. So I went on their website. They have a lifetime warranty. They say, send us a picture, blah, blah, blah. How many miles do you think you've ran? All this other shit. And I'm like, damn, I'm 2 years old. But I did it anyway.
Yep.
The next week, they said, hey, look, we honor our commitment to customer service. We're sending you $190. That covers any shoe plus shipping on our website store. So they did that. And I got a free pair of badass shoes, even though these were 2 years old. I mean, who would have done that? But I will continue to buy shoes from them because of how they treated me, even after 2 years. Now, that goes directly into what Andrew Barten was saying. When you're marketing, even in this terrible time that we're about to get into, I personally don't think it's going to get terrible, but look at the timing we're going into. We're going to Q4, man. Who needs to spend money right now on shit like projects or updating, right? You got nonprofits needing to offload some profits. You have construction companies doing the exact same thing. And then you also have remodeling companies. So those people need a quality company, a quality person to count on. And now you have the time to double tap all the people you've done business with. How are you doing? How's everything going? Are you ready for the holidays? Blah, 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 blah. Just like Barton just said. I just wanted to put that out there. Customer service, man. That'll carry you a long way.
Customer service without being desperate. Don't get away from your core competencies, right? Continue to serve your customers. So let's jump into this, Andy Barton. Let's talk about your business. What was Q3 like for you? Because I want to set people up, right? Some people have told me, oh, Q3 sucked. Some people said Q3 was awesome. So, Andy Barton, from your perspective, how was Q3 and what are you going to carry in? Let's talk about that. How was Q3 for you? And then we'll jump into Q4 and beyond.
So I would tell you, year over year, we're up in every quarter. I think Q3 was exceptionally good for us. I expect Q4 to do the same. I think the important thing here is, again, a lot of these guys, I think they start to get tight on their cash flow. They don't know how to manage their cash flow. They don't know how to leverage their credit. And so they turn off their Google ads, or they turn off their mailers, or they turn off their radio or TV spend, whatever they're doing. And when you're down, that's the worst time you want to do that. Keep it going. You got to find a way to power through. Listen, we spent a lot of money marketing through Q1 and Q2, and we weren't seeing awesome results. We were doing okay, but they weren't as good as we wanted. But you see it carry through now in Q3, and now even rolling into Q4. It's really obvious to our team that the marketing worked, and it worked very well.
So I went to a seminar maybe 6 months ago with those realtors. They put up the top 12 or 15 ways that realtors get customers. Like there was a list of 50, they boiled down to 12 to 15, and they had realtors from across the country do different things. They had some realtors that had tried all 12 initiatives and put some time into all of them. They also had some realtors that picked their top 3 and only focus on their top 3. And what it ended up being was, for even the people that did the 12 things, 83%. So that is most. 83% of their leads came from their top 3.
Mm-hmm.
So they spent just as much time on the 17 things that didn't work. How do you see that? Do you have a top 3 places or top 5? What are the energies? I know you do mailers. What are those disciplines that work best for you?
Oh, and I think we absolutely track that information. I can tell you right off the bat, my number 1 is still Google. I know it's not popular, but it's still, and just traditional ads. We also do the local service ads, Google guaranteed, also very effective, but Google ads is our number 1. Our number 2 is a mailer. And then probably mixed in there really between 1 and 2 is probably just referrals. But in terms of the actual marketing, where we're spending our money, it's Google ads and the mailer followed by Google local services. And I think that's 100% true. It's the 80-20 rule. It's always the 80-20 rule. It never fails.
And for me, so I always think of the top 5 as repeat or existing customers, referrals by your customer base, and then the other 3 things. Because these things happen, and these things, they happen more when you do these, right? There's new customer activation, which is where I spend a lot of my time, because we get the referrals and the repeat business by doing a great job and having a great customer experience, which is a completely that's the operations bucket. When we take care of them the first time, we're not necessarily remarketing. There's tools and reviews and having conversations with them to remarket them. It's not the same as convincing them to be your customer, because they come from a prospect to be a customer. So I like what you said there, right? And also, who gives a shit if Google's number 1? If it's number 1, it's number 1. I mean, back in the day was the big 3 of TV, radio, and outdoor. Those were the big 3 people spent money on. And then people like Gary Vee revolutionized what was Google AdWords, killed it when nobody else was in that space. And absolutely, the market is saturated on Google, and it can be very costly to do it. However, it's what people use. I mean, I live on the University of YouTube. I Google everything I need an answer to. And more often than not, when I Google stuff, I get an answer. And sometimes, this happened recently with my girlfriend's Jeep. We were looking at, there was a problem with her Jeep. The answer we found was a YouTube page. Hey, this is how you fix this thing. And of course, who put it out there? The company that sells the thing that we needed, right? And it's like, okay, well, hey, they gave an answer, and now at the end of it said, hey, go to our website and buy the thing, and then rewatch the video. So it's like, well, it's obviously effective. And for people like Casey was completely against Google. He's been out of the hustle for a little bit, and so his thoughts may have changed. However, he figured out how to do it without Google, right? So who knows where his business could have been with Google? And there's other people out there that figured out without Google. Find your top 3 and put your energy towards those. That's the key.
So Google is just like organic. Okay. So think of this. You have to acquire and then nurture. Same thing with Google, man. A lot of people want to put money into Google, and after a month, they're like, didn't work. And then they're out. That's because they didn't nurture that relationship with Google. You have to keep it consistent. You have to make sure that, hey, within this next 6 months, that's what you're gauging. Not in 30 days, can I blow this month out of the water? That's unrealistic, and it's quite honestly immature to think that way. And if you're in that position, and I've heard this from marketing people that we've talked to, they're like, look, if your budget is only $5,000 for 1 month, you're not my customer, because it's not going to be $5,000 one time. It's going to be $5,000 once, and then maybe $6,000 the next time. And the next thing you know, it's going to be like, hey, look, $7,500 going forward every month. And it's a consistent faucet, right? So I think you don't just acquire those leads. You have to nurture the leads, just like you have to nurture the relationships when you're marketing. And yes, my opinion has changed on Google, Andy, because now I'm doing a lot of different things. I can tell you right now, yeah, we it's a love-hate relationship. You hate that you need it, but you love when it works, right?
Yeah.
I'll drop this one out there too. I don't think it's gonna be popular, and I'm sure it's gonna generate a lot of questions I'm not prepared to answer. But I think most people are mismanaging their Google. I think they're way overspending, and they're not
100%.
focused on, just like you said, the 80-20 rule. There's a few keywords that are kicking ass in my campaigns, and that's where we spend our money. And our cost is way down compared to other guys. I've had guys send me over their pages, allow me to be a manager on their Google Ads page, and I look at their ad spend. I think it's way out of line, and I think that's very prevalent. If you're using a third-party firm, and I mean no disrespect to these guys, there's plenty of guys out there doing it right too, but a lot of them I think are just spending your money for the sake of spending your money to get their management fee.
Well, it's
There's
interesting.
a lot like that.
Yeah, that's interesting to bring that up, because you and I talked about that, and that reminds me that you said, hey, you were going to scrub my Google Ads. I got to make that introduction right now, because I ain't too proud. I always, whenever, there's a lot of marketing companies out there that'll do a free Google Analytics scrub because they want to prove that your marketing company sucks and you should hire them. Dude, take them up on that free offer. Worst case scenario is they give you insight that you didn't already have. You then take that knowledge and give it to your marketing company, and you put your marketing company on notice that they are replaceable. Because a lot of times, them first 90 days, they'll kick ass and run great ads, and then they won't innovate, they won't adapt, they won't refresh. They're running the same play because they've
What's
already
their
moved on to the next
specialty?
customer.
Yeah, I mean, ask what their specialty is, right, Andy? I mean, it's like us. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you're the best or you're the best choice. Shit, with Google Ads, every marketing firm out there will offer Google Ads management. Does it mean that they're the best? Probably not. No. So, I mean, ask them, what do you specialize in? Are you good at nonprofit Google Ads? Are you good at junk removal companies? When they're like, oh, you'll be our first junk removal company for our client or whatever, maybe that's not the best one for you. Maybe you want someone who's used to dealing with this kind of industry, because it is different than a mom and pop bakery or a mechanic, or someone like an HVAC company who has a entirely different kind of budget and different seasonal hours, So I think you just have to pick and choose and test them out. Like you said, take them up on their offer, man.
I think, and at the end of the day, it's vigilant management. You have to stay involved. We can put the blame on the marketing company. You are paying them; they should be doing it. But you, as a business owner, if you're not looking at it, if you're not paying attention to it, and you're going to drop the ball there too, I think we're unique because we brought all of our marketing in house. We did it years ago, and I think people thought it was nuts, but it's worked out well for us, and we've learned a lot along the way. And I think for us, it's a big core competency. It's one of the things we do super well. And I just want to digress a touch. Like those free reviews, I do think you got to take them with a grain of salt, because I think it's really easy to be a Monday morning quarterback or an armchair warrior. You can pick somebody else apart. The proof, like you said, is really in the pudding. Let's see what you look like in 90 days. Let's see what you look like at 180 days. Let's see what you look like at a 1 year mark. And then you'll know if the people are putting in the time and effort to make your business successful,
I love it. Real quick, for everybody out there, we got a handful of people watching live. Feel free to jump in. We're monitoring the chat. Ask us the questions you want to ask, because we're going to now jump into how do we finish out the year. So you got a pressing question on how in a struggle you're having. Let us know what you want to talk about. Also, let me highlight something. Actually, I'm going to go back to this view. Barten, can you please explain to our listeners? I don't know if you know where this is going. Can you please explain to our listeners and some people that might be on this call right now that don't understand the significance of what is over your left shoulder, the one of the most cherished things a man can own? Can you please explain to
There's
Casey
a line on it,
what
though.
that is? What is that?
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's what it is. It's a great line on my LinkedIn profile. Pro football team owner. All right. That's what it is.
So we talk football.
My marketing
And
you're a
consultancy
Bill-
went up by $125 an hour because of that. Right there. Sorry, this one. Right
there you
there.
go. Yeah, there you go. And you're a Bills fan, which
Yeah,
is
diehard.
diehard Bills fan, and you have Packer stock. Why do you have Packer stock? I didn't even know this until.
If you can own a part of a football team, you're not going to take advantage of that. I can't buy into the Bills. I've called so many times. Fucking Terry Pagula. I'm like, dude, I want in. He goes, what are you willing to invest? $25, bro. Yeah. Doesn't even return my phone call.
Wouldn't return my phone call. All right,
So
there we go.
What'd that run you? $25?
Yeah, I don't know what I think it was pretty cheap actually. It was
Like $200.
I mean, we know it's
250?
cheap.
yeah, it was reasonable.
Reasonable.
Okay.
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
Every year in Green Bay when they had the stockholders meeting, if you have that $250 piece of paper, you can go sit inside Lambeau along 70,000 other people and listen to the president, Mike Murphy, talk about the future of the Green Bay Packers, and you can vote on shit, and you have no say. However, you can vote, right? And the vote is with your thunderous applause, right? And they may or may not do the thing you want them to do. Like if you call the head office and be like, hey, you should probably put Jordan Love in or bench him or whatever. They're probably not listening, right?
Well, yeah, you got to go right to the tweeter, dude. That's where
Yeah.
you get your information across.
There you go.
Yeah.
The tweeter dude. All right. So what are you going to do, Andy Barton, here in Q4 to maximize what you're already seeing within your business and to maintain that level of growth and profitability that you've seen throughout this year?
I'm going to continue to try to innovate. We've had the conversation. I have a lot of ancillary services I offer. I know it's not always super popular, but my honest opinion is when you get to that many guys, you can't afford down days. And if I can fill in a day, I'll fill in a day. The real estate market is really tight, man. It's really tight.
Yeah.
Junk removal is probably my most profitable tranche, but if you can't get enough of it, you got to find ways to keep things moving and get through. What I think is really cool about junk removal is, right, you think about supply and demand. So during the pandemic, I ran Barten Brothers. I also owned an ice rink. The 2020 season, the ice rink was gone. We didn't play hockey.
Mhm.
Never coming back. That demand is gone. Junk removal demand never went away. It just got pent up. People are just piling up their trash until it was time to call me back again. And so that's what I think is really cool. I think that's what people need to understand. You need to figure out how to push through this period. I agree with you, Casey. I don't think the economy is terrible right now. I do think there's a lot of question marks. Bloomberg had just come out yesterday and said they expect to see a recession no later than the beginning of 2024. I think that recession does hit. You're going to suffer a little bit more than we have already. And I think it's just important to figure out how to get through until the good times come back. I personally don't think it'll be a super long recession if it happens at all. But my push here is just to continue to innovate, come up with new ideas. I think I've talked to you about it, Andy. I want to maybe brand my own bagsters, buy a grapple truck, start picking those up. I've talked about subscription-based models. I changed the name after Andy criticized the Junk of the Month Club, but maybe we'll call it the Cleanup Club.
I don't know if I criticized. Did I call it the Junk of the Month? Did I criticize? I like the idea behind it.
That reminds me of Brett Favre's texting subscription. Junk of the Month Club, huh? Got him in a little trouble. He
was. Hey, that happened in New York. That had nothing. That had nothing to do with me. Anyways, actually, where we talked about that, Andy Barton, right? You having your own branded bagsters, and look at it was at New Orleans at the 2023 Waste Expo. This year, Waste Expo comes back to beautiful Las Vegas, May 5 through 8. Again, they don't pay me to say it. I say it because I'm going to be there and I believe in it. I'm in Vegas right now. I'll be in Vegas for that. I might be in Vegas a few other times between now and then for different things. And that's the kind of stuff, as I talk about Q4, right? Andy Barton's talking about innovating. I'm going to challenge everybody out there. Start looking at expos, conventions for next year and where you're going to go and what you're going to do with your time so that next year at this time, you don't say, man, I wish I would have done this last year. Put the time in now to research it, budget it. So as you round out your year, finish out your profit and loss statement, build your pro forma, all these things that you need to be doing in your business, you can budget in travel and education and the time that you're going to invest in yourself so you can be a better business owner. That's my challenge to everybody. going into 2024, or really Q4 of this year, is sign up for, commit to, develop SMART goals on what you're going to do to increase your knowledge, right? This podcast is great. I love coming here and sharing what we learn along the way. And I can also tell you that when I go to places like Waste Expo, I learn so much more because I see other people doing it, and it's motivating and it's intriguing. So absolutely get on that. Can't stress that enough. So anyway, there's my plug of what needs to happen in Q4 so you can be as successful as you want to be.
I think it's 100% true.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that's the other thing is a lot of people want to tighten up when it gets like this, but it's the best time to focus inward, right? Focus on your business. What's it doing? How can you change it? How can you adjust different parameters? Hell, even if you want to experiment, right, within your business, you want to do something that may be new to you and your business, what better time to do it? I always like to look at what does my community need at the moment. It's so crazy to think, we have actually Andy and I, Wines, we ate at a great restaurant here in Roanoke, Texas. It's right down the street from where I live. And they tagged themselves, they claim to be the unique food capital of Texas, which is a complete false advertisement. But they do have a lot of restaurants, and they have a street called Oak Street. Everybody wants to be on Oak Street. The problem is you can't survive on Oak Street. It's so expensive that these shops come in and a year later they're gone. Now, if you were to focus on the next one over, where it's not 45 a foot, maybe it's 30, maybe it's 25, you're still in the same vicinity. You're a block away. The traffic's still there. The walk traffic's still there. But everybody wants to be on Oak Street. They just don't know that they can't afford Oak Street until they're too late. Well, it's the same thing now if you think about it. In junk removal, I look at this all the time because I still have an equity share in a company locally here. And I can tell you right now, when they want to shift their marketing to, I want to just pour all this money into a billboard, I look at them and I say, why? Like, honestly, give me a good answer that tells me that is a good data-driven result or decision, and then we can go with it. The problem is billboards are for two people, leaving and going, not staying. So if you want to get your community, if you want to get a town or a couple towns that are in the same area, then why are you going to have a billboard where people are leaving your area? And they're like, oh, well, they're coming into the area. Well, most people that are coming into the area are probably to work. And if they're coming home, they probably don't see your billboard because it's late at night and they just want to get home. I personally have had zero success with billboards when it comes to junk removal. I had good success with demolition, mainly because it was cheap and I had it up for an entire year. And I got 2 jobs from it. And those 2 jobs paid for it 10x. But that's it, man. Unless you're Coca-Cola, I don't think a junk removal needs to be on a billboard. So that's just my 2 cents on that when it comes to the slow times in marketing. But I do want to say, so Justin Waltz commented, he said, light recession, buyers will come back. Transactions will continue to happen. Commercial real estate will see a crunch. The market will shift, but junk transactions will maintain a steady flow. If you haven't checked out Justin, I know Barten knows Justin a little bit. I know Russ Burry is a good friend, I think client of Justin as well. That's all this guy does, man, right? Like if you have a question, hit him up because he is in this, right? And you want to talk about analytics, you want to talk about data. Andy, you and Justin probably get along pretty well.
Yeah, Justin,
just data.
Justin, I've been, this is another thing, right? I'll shout out Justin. Justin and I have been going back and forth for like, I don't know, a couple of weeks here, looking to get something on the schedule. And as soon as we went live today, he hit me up. He's like, hey man, I'm going to tag my assistant to make sure we get this set up, right? Because he's delegated, right? Like, shout out to him. It's like he was cool and honest with me. He jumped on the live here. I'm watching his stuff. Actually, you're right. Russ Berry got me hooked on him a little bit. Hell, I think Andy Barten got us hooked on Russ Berry, and I don't know how the hell I met Andy Barten. This is why we do these live shows, and this is why we network, and this is why going to Waste Expo or what I'm doing with Jobber, it's like all that continuing education. I remember the first couple of years in business, I had convinced myself that I was too busy. I had to be in my business. I was too important in my business to not get outside and continue to push myself. And now that I am getting outside of my business and pushing myself, I learned all this shit that I wouldn't otherwise learn. And then Justin just tracked it. Yes, sir. Right. Because it's true. And we will have Justin on an episode, possibly a live episode. So let's get to a question. Actually, also, here's the next question.
Zachary Willie, past
Yeah.
guest, by the way.
Zachary, is it Willie or Wiley? Willie Wiley?
Willie, there's two L's.
I don't know how these things work. All right, so we'll throw that up.
Yeah.
Is that this one here? Is the topic that people are feeling slow? Past 2 weeks have suddenly been slow for us. What are your thoughts there, Andy Barten? Have you been slow? And if they are slow, why are they slow from your perspective?
So I'm not slow. I do think potentially I'm sitting in a bubble. I think I don't want to credit it all. I think our marketing campaign, our marketing machine is top tier. I do think New Jersey is a unique situation across this country. I think most people are feeling a slowdown. And I want to give a huge shout out here to Justin. If he's going to be on your show, I don't have any problem saying this. He's got a great course. Go online, take it. You're going to learn a tremendous amount. He knows everything there is to know on the book side of this thing, how to operationally put all your numbers together and make sure you're doing everything the right way. And I'll tell you what, if you do your numbers right, you're going to figure out where you're going wrong. But to digress back, I think junk removal is directly tied to the real estate market. The real estate market's tight. I think you're going to feel a slowdown if you're not taking proactive steps. And I'll tell you what, I think if you haven't been taking proactive steps, you're already way behind the 8 ball. So keep that in mind if you decide to go out today and get going. I think it's better than doing nothing, but you're going to have to put some work into this point.
So for our business, we're up 60% year over year on our residential junk removal. And a lot of that is real estate. So we're chewing up the market share that we're having. Our struggle this last year is the commercial stuff. We have a lot of commercial properties in our area that are sitting, right? And unlike residential, right, before a property can sit, right, you have to clear it out first. And then it'll sit if it's going to hold on the market. And right now, these properties aren't sitting long. We know that, right? So we're clearing them out quicker, and there's only less of them. So that's the challenge. Commercial side of the house, a lot of people moved out these last 2 years, and people often they move on, they take what they got to take, and they leave everything else. It's like now it's the property, the landlord, the property management company, the next tenant, and somebody else's problem. So we have a lot of vacancies here in the Midwest, especially in the Milwaukee market, where properties are sitting. So that's one of the challenges we're seeing on the commercial side of the house. How are things there in New Jersey for you, Andy Barton? Are you guys seeing a lot of commercial properties sitting?
There's a ton of commercial property sitting. New Jersey is probably the capital of commercial office space. New Jersey, New York City, that type of thing. I think your assessment's 100% correct. I do think there's a lot of opportunity in that commercial space. We've actually been doing more and more of it now. People cleaning out offices, finally starting to change the space over, transitioning either for a new tenant or for a whole new purpose. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there. And again, I think you're going to slow down. You might already be slow. But I think the real important thing here is use this time to affect change. I see Casey's on the phone, but Casey had that conversation with a guy on Facebook who was basically talking about, kind of starting other businesses. And he was discussing the idea that maybe you should just focus on your business. And I 100% agree with that. So I think you begin formalizing your training, really get your teams together, start talking to them, making sure your customer service is exceptional. You had that gentleman on your show who I think was amazing, by the way, that talked about SOPs. I mean,
Uzar fucking, he's dialed in. I'm in talks with him right now. He's dialed in, right? We are slowly assembling a dream team of vendors, right? Like, and none of them are paying. Like, we had Uzar on because he hit us up, was like, hey, I want to be on. We're gonna have Justin on here soon, and I want to hear his perspective from KPIs. And he has talked about pedigree, drunk pedigree. He's got the pedigree and the experience, right? Like, that's what really we're doing here in the podcast, is bringing together all these best people so that you, the listener, you, the junk removal owner operator, can get in and start affecting change, start taking these things on. So you're talking SOPs, you're talking training. What is the greatest deficit you see in these guys that are, to keep them from failing? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. There are some people, right? It's October 2. There are some people that will not be in business in 6 months, right? I always say it's a race to April 1. April 1 is right, and especially here in Wisconsin. Snow starts flying sometimes in mid-October and doesn't stop until April, even May. So we know from December 1 to March 31st, we got to slug out those 4 months. So what are the things that are absolutely killers that you need to avoid so you can be still listening here in 6 months from now as a business owner?
I think the easy ones are cash flow management and debt service. You either need to bring in enough cash flow to service your debt, or you need to reduce your debt. I think going into those slower months, if you're not socking away money right now, you could potentially be in trouble. I mean, listen, you're in the north, I'm in the northeast. We get a lot of snow. We get a lot of bad weather. It's something you got to deal with. You got to be smart about it. I talk to my guys all the time. We make hay when the sun shines. If we're working 70, 80 hours a week during the summertime, so be it. They're getting paid, I'm getting paid, and I'm taking that money and I'm socking it away. So all winter long, they continue to come to work and get paid. We may wash trucks 3 times in one day. We may sweep the shop twice in a day. If the weather gets bad and it's crappy out, but everybody comes to work, everybody gets paid. They're guaranteed a paycheck. I think that makes your business run huge. If your employees are happy, they're going to go out and make your customers happy. If your customers are happy, you're going to get paid, and you're going to get referrals, and you're going to continue to get more work.
Casey, what are you seeing from the consulting side of the house? What are the challenges some of your guys, your clients are anticipating, and the solutions you're implementing with them?
Just try to stay relevant to so here it's seasonal, right? I mean, we have a winter season that consists of holidays, and honestly, business slows down during the holidays regardless. Now the weather doesn't affect it as much like it does up north. Here we get a lot of rain, we get a lot of storms, and to me, that's more business. That. For me, I did a lot of good, lucrative jobs that were based solely on post storms, whether it's brush cleanup, fences, whatever. At the same time, I'm in the South. So when we do have a freeze, 9 times out of 10, that means some shit's going to happen to your house or, your shed. So that's when you start getting in with these restoration companies, these remodelers, these roofers. You already know they're hawks. Like, they're already waiting. And then once that storm strikes, guess who's usually first to touch the customer? Roofers, right? They're usually the first ones out. Have good conversations. Take a good, reputable company to lunch. Say, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. I want to see how we can work together. The other thing is staying relevant with the the holidays. I'm sorry. What I mean by that is get involved. It's October. You should have at least 5 pumpkin patches that you have hit up already, right? You should be going to these pumpkin patches, these hayride, these big festivals. Be relevant. If people are there, they're there for 1 month. Why not be there every day? I partnered with a pumpkin patch, and I had my trailer that was wrapped sitting out there collecting their trash, and every week I would take it and dump it for them. I charged them cost to dump it. I made no money, but it was a huge marketing play. And they brought in about $300K a month in October. That's how busy they were. And that's how much traffic they saw. And I said, hey, how can we work together? It took me 3 years to get with them. They finally got junk, and they got with me because I was local. I was a vet. They liked me. And then all those people that were going there all the time, Monday through Friday or Sunday, they saw my trailer, my brand, my phone number, right? So I stayed relevant. Same thing with Thanksgiving. Same thing with Christmas. I'm not saying you have to go dress like Santa, but damn, you need to be involved with your communities, because that's where your customers are. You can't just go knocking on doors and say, hey, use me, right? You're not a roofer. But what you can do is say, where are my customers hanging out during the holidays? Because I need to be there.
All right, let's talk about 2024. What do people need to be doing now to prep for January 1? And what do you need to do in January 1 that you haven't done, right? This is the time of year to make the plays, make the plans. So let's go to you, Andy Barton. What do you need to do this quarter? What do people need to do this quarter to make 2024, the entire year, the best year in their business?
I think you got to start kind of applying some basic principles. A lot of the stuff we've talked about over and over again, and probably 5% of us actually go out and do it. And it's a conversation I have with a lot of people. Most guys are in the game, to get by, to make a little cash for themselves. Maybe they're trying to pay their bills with it. They're not trying to do much more than that. So you got to market. You got to get your financials in order. You have to really sit down and get your financials in order. You got to make sure you're generating profit and loss statements. Make sure you're using QuickBooks. Make sure you're using CRM to track the information. And you got to take that data and you got to analyze it. I think the other thing that you got to do is, if you got a little equipment and time, is, so I stay busy basically till Christmas. From Christmas until March, it's a crapshoot. we might really do well if the weather's good. We might not if the weather's bad. But we use that time, like we were talking about before, SOPs, training. I think there's some other really good ideas. All of my trucks, all of my equipment goes in for service. I'm a huge preventative maintenance guy. Spend your money there. I have 8 Isuzu NPRs.
Yep.
I had 2 of them get their catalytic converter stolen. So I started it this month. I'm on my second truck. I'll do 6 more of them. They're charging me $1,200, but they're putting these cat cages over both the catalytic converters on those trucks, and that's just investment, man. But now's the time of year to do it. It's if you can start cycling them through. He got the first 2 in really fast and quick. I got them back in a couple hours. But you start investing in equipment. You start investing in just building out these processes. You got to write the shit down. You got to formalize it. I can't tell you. I probably have 150 Google Docs of just lists. Right? How do you price this? How do you build this out? How does this get fixed? What do I need to do next? What's the PM schedule? What tools should be in the truck? So use your time if you have it right now to start building that stuff out. You still got to go out and work. You still got to go out and make money, but you'll have the downtime. Put the downtime into setting yourself up for success in the future. Systems and processes.
Well, and I also want to add to that. I think Andy, right here said it earlier. Pro forma, having a legit pro forma is so important, and it will help guide you. It also will help you learn a lot about your own business. Man, I was very green when it came to that. And I had Brian, my stepdad, he helped me put one together. And it's insane the difference it made, right? Because a lot of us, if we don't know somewhere, I don't know how to put a pro forma together. I don't know how to do a proper P&L statement. So sometimes you just put it to the side and then you never do it, right? So those are things this is when you learn those things.
Well, and that's the thing. So I like what you said there about what you're saying, Andy Barton. Write it down, get it down, and then also write down what you're doing today. And the nice thing is when you write it down, you also start looking like, hey, is this the best way to do it? Right. So use the tools, whether it's Google Docs, Facebook user. I have to look up to this. Bring up this Terra for building your LMS. What the hell is an LMS? Scribe how for writing SOPs. I'm gonna Google that right now. See what the hell that's all about. What the hell is LMS? Please answer that question. That's the other thing. When I don't know shit, I just say it out loud, and I'll just that's it. That's as simple as I can be. Like, all right, like what is that? What is that thing?
I'm very confident the MS is management system.
Well, shit. What are we doing? Playing Taboo here? There we go. Learning management systems. Learning. Samsonite. That answer is brought to you by Justin Waltz. There we go. See, I had to Google for some reason we use live stream for this, and when we do it in
desktop,
no, when we do it in our VIP group, it doesn't transfer who's talking because it's this is a private residence, man, right? Only the best and brightest that asked to be part of the VIP group get in here and creates there. So Justin Waltz, learning management, he uses Scribe for writing SOPs. Let me tell you something. I need that information because like Andy Barton, I don't have 150. That's ballsy. I have at least 25 docs, Excel or Word docs on Google with this is the thing and here it lives, right? And SOPs are only as good as how accessible they are. We learned that from Uzar, right? You can have all the best SOPs in the world. If people do not have access to them or don't know how to get to them, they're useless. So there you go. And then Justin Waltz, place an iPad or iPhone next to you when you're broadcasting live so you can observe the user's experience.
That's what I'm doing.
That's what I'm doing. We're doing that. They're doing that. I'm observing.
I'm not doing it. I had no idea who was
I am observing the user's experience. No, I had it. I know. That's right. That's why I keep like people like, well, this guy's just on his phone the whole time. No, I'm figuring out how to do this and that. Technology, not my thing. And also, for those of you, we got a couple more people that joined us. I'm in lovely Las Vegas, so I don't have my crutch, i.e. Taylor. In the other room, normally I just yell, and 12 feet over there is a guy. Taylor's the ultimate, and I mean this in the most enduring way, the ultimate nerd. He can nerd out and figure out everything. And when something doesn't work, and I'm just like Neanderthal about it, he's like, no, you got to think of the stuff. And I'm like, yeah, whiz bang, smart guy.
Hey,
like in the Army. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Talking about technology. Are you booking online yet?
I am not. There you go. I'm not. There you go. There's the answer. I was open to it.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Called me on my shit. I was open to it. The door is still open. I haven't walked through it yet. You know what?
We're gonna play a replay of that podcast.
Oh, I failed. I failed
I'm
miserably.
gonna do that right now.
I'm gonna do it.
I'm just curious what
just try it
Jobber
out.
thinks about that.
I need
Do
an
they want you
accountability.
online?
Jobber! I get an email every week telling me I need to implement booking online. Oh yeah,
Very
yeah.
good.
And I'm gonna hide behind my Jobber. I'm gonna hide behind my Jobber Yeti now that has a QR code on it.
Leave me alone, guys.
Oh yeah, no, I haven't done that yet. Shit. All right. I'm doing that next 30 days. I'm gonna test drive it. But to your point, hold on. Actually, in all honesty, I'm gonna test drive it now because as we get slower, we have more capability. Right? My biggest concern is the routing is gonna be shit or this is gonna be shit. Because we have crews not necessarily sitting around doing nothing, but we have capacity in our schedule. Now is the time to turn that on and start test driving it. Posting pics on your website. Here, posting prices on our website. That's split. Andy Barten, you're a proponent for it, correct?
I'm a huge proponent for it, man.
Yep, he's a huge proponent. Most people I talk to are starting to post their prices on the website. I am still against it. We have our we have our what it looks like, and the reason is I want people to call us to give them that touch, give them that feel.
Well, I got to tell you, and I really would be interested to hear Justin's take on this too when you get him on the show, because I know for a long time,
hold on,
1-800 got junk.
I might be able.
1-800 got junk was posting them forever, and then they stopped doing it, and I'm sure they have a reason for it. But I'll tell you what, most of my customers don't go on there and look at the pricing page. We use it as a tool when we get on the job. We hold up our phone, we hold up our iPad, and we just pull it up and say, look, our pricing is transparent. This is how it works. This is what everybody pays. And I'll tell you, listen, it allows you to make money because at the end of the day, if they can afford junk removal, I don't think they're that price sensitive. They just want to know they're getting a fair deal. They don't want to feel like they're being sold to. They don't want to feel like they're getting ripped off. Maybe they think it's pricey, but they see it on your website. They go, well, everybody pays it. So that's just the rate it is.
Yeah. I agree with that. I didn't do it personally. I don't know if it was more of I'm not doing it as much as it was I would just tell them over the phone. But at the same time, we taught our admin, we had a few people that would answer our phones, and we taught them the questions to ask in order to decipher the big puzzle of what they actually had, the job. I would be more accepting to posting my prices, my base prices online than I would doing online booking. Now, this goes back to what we talked about earlier. I mean, personally, I liked having that control over the schedule. I liked having, because it fluctuates so much, right? Like we could have a job turn into 2 trailers like that. You know how it is. And I think that for us, it worked and we didn't want to fuck with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think it 100% makes sense. And I don't think there's any right way to do it. I find it to be beneficial. If you got a sales pitch, it's working and it's effective and your business can grow and be successful, then I think you continue to use that. I get it, man. If you're building a business where you have commission-based salesmen, like you're not going to want to advertise those prices. You got to give those guys the opportunity to go out and make their money. For me, it hasn't been the model I want to use. I'm a volume guy. I really, I want to make a little money a bunch of times, and I'm not trying to make a lot of money once. So that's always going to been my approach, and I think it makes it easier on my teams. Because I don't know what your experience is, Andy, but most of my guys are not natural salesmen. They're workers. They go out and they kick ass, and they're customer service focused. You know what I mean? That's what they are.
My guys hate talking to people. Like they can go into your house after a loved one has died and be the most compassionate, caring individuals, deliver top-notch service. We surpassed last week. We surpassed 800 reviews. We're at 815 something reviews, 5 stars. Our guys kick ass in the field. The day after we surpassed 800 reviews, we had a networking event at our warehouse, about 75, 80 people that saw our 30,000 square foot recycling facility, and my guys were scattered to the wind. The idea of talking to people, and not even selling, just, hey, how are you? This is what we do. They want nothing to do with it. So you have to build in the tools and the processes. Sometimes the instrumental, right? You give them a piece of commission or whatever, right? To motivate them. At the end of the day, though, yeah, I didn't hire them to be salespeople. I hired them to deliver kick-ass service to our customers. And so, yeah, that is consistent across the board. Also, we got a quick Process Street for process SOPs, pretty handy and repeatable. Facebook user, got to go check over here. That was Zach Wiley, Willie, whoever it may be. Yeah, Taylor Goodwin was the one asking if we post our prices. He's the one. I had a great conversation with Taylor Goodwin, newer guy down there in Mesquite, Texas. Mesquite, like the barbecue sauce.
the
All right,
wood,
mesquite,
like the
like the wood, like the tree. Is that where they got the tree from? Okay, fine.
That's all we got down here, man. Oak and mesquite trees.
Is that where it comes from?
Yeah, man.
Never knew that. I don't know shit about barbecue.
Know that.
Not jamming, barbecue, not my jam. All right. Yeah, so Terra.com is something that we call it. Justin also put up. I'm just going through the comments to make sure we're covering all the things in case people missed the things that matter to us. All right, SOPs. What else going into 2024? Anything specific or an area that people are typically struggling or failing in?
Do not switch insurance companies right now, guys.
Oh,
if you have one, if you have an insurance company and you want better coverage or a better policy, work with your current one. Here's why. I shopped 5 different companies. They all quoted me double and said, stay with who you are with because we can't touch what you're currently paying. We can't touch with your coverage or your coverage and price, whatever premium. And it's because right now insurance it's almost in a limbo state. It's very interesting. Go talk to an insurance. One of my good buddies is a State Farm guy. So he told me where State Farm is, right? Right now, State Farm's doing better than a lot of others. But here's the deal. They're going to lose $20 billion next year. They already know that. So if you think about it, what are you going to do if you're an insurance company next year? And for those that are paying, I don't know, $800 a month for insurance and you're growing, you're like, oh, shit, I can't pay $1,600 if I'm growing double. Well, maybe you can because next year it may be $3,500 instead of $1,600. Just a quick little my 2 cents in that because I've been finding that out.
Oh, dude, that's a great point, right? That's why I keep asking the same question 2 or 3 times because I want to get some nuggets, right? And it's interesting you bring that up because I have an insurance guy owns a brokerage or my CEO roundtable. He told me the same thing. And I didn't even think about it, right? So if I heard it, you heard it, and you said it out loud, it's like, oh shit, there's something to it. When I talk about what do you need to do, right? I'm talking about start, stop, and continue, right? So if you think your insurance premiums are high, sounds like not a good use of time. I can also tell you, right now, something to do, go get a line of credit. To Andy Barton's point, you want to talk about cash flow management? Get a line of credit before you need it. I heard that years ago. And I was like, my business isn't big enough. I don't qualify, whatever. No, I had a line of credit last year. It got us through the winter. It allowed us to continue to invest instead of trimming where we didn't have the place to trim it. We paid it down this year, or paid it off, not down. And now we have that line of credit available when needed. It's zero. And you only have to use it once a year. Even if you just pull it, use it, pay it off. It's better to keep the line of credit available because that's all part of cash flows. It's not cash. It contributes to what Andy Barton said. What is increasing your cash flow? The money is there, so you can afford to have a bad week or a bad month. Like Andy Barton said, right? 6 months of advertising, didn't see it. It started to finally strike after the 6 months. Then it started to hit, started to slap. I will answer this question from Taylor Zach. Zach asked about why am I against online booking? I'm against it because I am all about efficiency and routing, and I don't want my customers to pick when their pickup is and how much it is. Because
you're a logistics guy.
I'm a logistics guy. I want to control everything on the front end. A sales guy would be like, reduce the friction. I mean, that's exactly what Justin said. Reduce the friction. Let them book it at a stoplight. Like, that's awesome. And I read that. I was like, God, he's not wrong. Because I think about how I buy that way. I don't want to ask questions. I buy, like, I make the decision. I want to buy. I want to buy it now. And so, I'm against it because of my own self-limiting beliefs. That's why I'm against it. That's it. And excuse after excuse. And also, I want to be able to talk to people. I want to have that touch, that customer service touch. However, what I want more is to book book the job, get the work done, and make it simple on my customers. So I'm slowly talking myself into it. We'll see. We'll see when we do our next quarterly check-in.
I think you know, I think everything you said is correct. I think they're just generational change, man. I have a policy: if they book online, we do not call them. We send them a confirmation email, confirmation text message. We
Okay,
don't
so
bother them
how
at all
how
until we
how
get
do
there.
how do they decide how much they're getting? They're just like, hey, I need a half trailers of stuff, and that's all they get, or what? How does that work? Let's talk that
Oh,
through.
dude, there's no limits here at Barten Bros, dude. You know, you can have 25 trucks. I'll get them done today. You know, as long as you're willing to write me a check.
So how do you? Okay, but how do they decide what they want and how much it's going to be, or they don't? They're just like, hey, take it all. I don't give a shit.
Oh, I don't really give a shit. I just tell them it's going to be easy. I have a little animated explainer video. Dude, book your best guess. That's all I need. If it's less, I'll charge you less. If it's more, I'll charge you more. We'll explain the whole thing to you while we go. You know, I don't need to be involved in any of that. You know,
Right.
I don't turn down anybody. They call me up today and say, hey, I really want my garbage picked up, but I can only be there at 8 p.m. I will be there at 8 p.m., bro. I will make that shit happen.
Do you work? Do you guys crank on Sundays still?
I don't typically crank on Sundays. I did work this Sunday. Somebody called me up and wanted a dumpster. If I didn't give it to them, somebody else was. I'm not that fancy that I'm not willing to get off my ass and go make a couple bucks, you know. And I'll tell you what, I don't know how big you got to get to a point where that's really an issue, but we're not there yet. We're not even close. I won't turn down money, and I'll tell you what, I do. Good spot, you know.
Yeah, I don't bang jobs on Sundays. I absolutely answer emails and keep up on things. You know, I basically every Saturday we have a manager on duty, and then Sunday I'm the de facto manager on duty. We don't get a lot of traffic on Sundays as far as websites or requests or phone calls.
We get commercial stuff on Sundays, and it's mostly
Really?
emergencies. Yeah, it's mostly like, hey, a freezer went down at the Tom Thumb, and it's like, shit, let's go get 600 pounds of rotten meat. Or you get like a pumpkin patch. We only picked up on Sundays because that was their late start day, because of church. So we were out there at 10 a.m. That makes sense, and it's worth it for me, right? Because we're accommodating a really good relationship. Same thing with the commercial part. I don't have my guys working Sunday, but if something comes up, and we'll be honest with the customer, hey, we're going to charge you double because it's inconvenient and it's disgusting, and it's a bad day or whatever. And they're like, hey, we need to go on. We're willing to pay that emergency rate or whatever. Same thing with apartment complexes. We worked Sundays with them. Unfortunately, it was a midnight to 2:30 a.m. job because their compactor went down. And they told all their residents, hey, throw everything away tonight so we can get it hauled off before we haul off our compactor. So I guess you could say we made exceptions to commercial clients on Sundays.
Oh yeah, if I get phone calls on my personal cell from time to time from some of our customers that have known me since back in the day. Oh yeah, I take care of them. I don't typically bang the job on a Sunday unless it's a.
Yeah.
I mean, we have we definitely have it. We don't make a point of it, and if we do it, it's normally not an employee. It's like myself and or the president of our company or one of or the leaders of our organization.
Salary
guy. 100% salary guy, and we yeah, exactly right. Like because I like to give my days a full day of reprieve. Like, hey, you're not going to hear from me. All right, I need you, Barton. I want you to send me the explainer video.
Yeah, that was badass.
Booking online because I'll just go word for word and shoot. Hey, this is how we do it. I'm going to charge you for the convenience. You're welcome, America. Taylor, our smart guy, right? Even Taylor from a distance can be smart. Live viewers, click the link and give StreamYard access to your name and picture. And then when we can comment, you can pop them up. So as we do more of these, right, we're learning as we go. We're developing our SOPs, as you can see. So Taylor, we're working hard in the background, making shit happen. So as we move forward, you can register with StreamYard. And then you can have your face pop up because, we know in life there's three types of people. They are the consumers, which is 90% of people. They will sit back and they will watch. They're the contributors. That's the 9% of people that will ask the question, give information, share their ideals of the world, right? The Justins of the world. And then there's the 1% of creators. And like in this case, right, we are creating, and we have created the Trash Talk Business Podcast, and now live version of the Trash Talk Business Podcast because people wanted it, and it gives us the opportunity to share our ideals with the world. With respect to time, we're coming up on 1 hour here. Andy Barton, let's go around the horn Any last final thoughts and or takeaways? We'll do final thoughts, and then we'll, like Jerry Springer always did final thoughts. Final thoughts first, and then we'll go back around the horn with top takeaways.
All right. My final thought is I would really love to get together on a panel. We can do it live or whatever you want to do, figure out who else is involved. I think the whole industry, 95% of the people out there doing junk removal would benefit from sitting down and really doing a SWOT analysis. It's on my list of things to do personally. I'd love to do it with a group of people that are a little smarter than me in the game and get some different perspectives. But I think we could offer tremendous value to people if we sat down and did that.
Mm-hmm.
Casey, Bubba, Lawrence, take any final thoughts?
Yeah, final thoughts. So this is also another time. I mean, he mentioned SWOT, and it reminded me this is a great time to get yourself and maybe even your GM or president, whatever, into a group coaching program. They have them everywhere. I mean, they have them in person. I liked the in-person one. We went to one. It was my mom, myself, and my stepdad. It was once a month, I think, for a year, and there was some one-on-one time in there as well. But the coolest thing is, it's usually you're the only person in your industry in that class, and you're with 5 to 6 other small businesses within your revenue range. And it's amazing to find out where they're at and what marketing strategies they're doing very well versus what you're not doing, and vice versa. At the same time, you help kind of provide solutions for each other. And you also get to present and just, it's a real good experience, right? For us, it was like $1,000 a month, dude. And honestly, it was worth every penny. And I think this is a great time to do it. They have some what do they call them? Like short ones, like that are like 3-month, 4-month, 6-month classes. But I mean, SWOT analysis, I would have never even known what that was unless I didn't go to that coaching program. So just want to put that out there.
Oh, I like that. I go to Vistage. Vistage is my jam. I've been going now for 3.5 years. It's a monthly meeting, 8-hour session with other CEOs. Definitely open up my eyes because it's other industries, what they're seeing, what they're feeling. I learn a lot. They have guest speakers. And then there's also chambers that have CEO roundtables. So I'm a huge proponent for all those things. If you want to know more about Vistage, you can absolutely hit me up. They don't pay me to say that. I love the program. So I'll talk about that. Justin Waltz actually jumped in. He said, stay tuned. I got some cool stuff coming for you guys to stay in touch. So I'm excited to see what Justin has coming on. Because this is the key, right? Getting the smart people together. Casey, Andy Barten, Justin Waltz, people like that, Russ, Barry, some of these key players in this industry to say, hey, let's sit around and get the best ideas and give them away, because it'll only make those that are strong stronger, and those that are going to go and fizzle away, they'll fizzle faster because they'll realize that they're not up for the challenge. And right, it's a dog eat dog world, and there's people that are hanging on by a thread, and we're given the answers and the choice to make it happen. So let's go back around one time, starting again with you, Andy Barten. What were your top takeaways from today's live show?
I think my top takeaway is just, how much potential there is in this industry. You look at this live show, you look at the Facebook comments, what are you at now? 40?
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome. There's a lot of people out there that are eager to come out and make this business, make this industry a real business, make it formalized, and start learning the best practices. There's a lot of opportunity out there to talk to various people that are doing it well and build your business out. So listen, I love this idea. I love the idea of making this business more formalized and making it more recognizable. I think it's probably Justin's stat, and I'm going to butcher it, but there's only like 20% of the population who knows junk removal exists. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Think about it for a few minutes and realize how much more opportunity there still is.
Casey, top takeaways.
Top takeaway is utilize your time. Just be smart with your time. A lot of people are like, hey, I'm too busy to do this. I'm too busy to do that. Well, pretty soon you're not going to have that excuse. Pretty soon you're going to have the most, I guess you could say, pertinent amount of time to put down those SOPs and start writing up these different processes for each aspect of your business, man. This is the perfect time to do it.
Yeah, my top takeaway is, you're never too old, right? I am stubborn. 90 days ago, there we go, 23%. There it is, 23%. Hashtag Justin from left field. Next time we're just gonna have Justin on from the word go. That way,
hey, for the record, Justin said 3%. I was only
Oh, you
off
said-
by 17. I added that 23. I was just trying to
Oh,
be
you
a
added the
little closer.
23. There we
Yeah.
go. 23%, 3%. Only 3% people that know joke removal exists. That's I'm not going to argue with a guy I don't know that well. I'll argue with him when he comes on the podcast here in a couple of weeks. All right. What was I saying? Oh yeah. You know what? Stubborn doesn't get me anywhere, right? And that's a personal reflection, for my top takeaway here, that I said I was going to do something 90 days ago. I didn't fucking do it. And you know what? I surround myself with really smart, motivated people like you, Andy Barton, Casey Bubba Lawrence, and all the other listeners that continue to challenge me, because not only do I come on in the show every week and put my ideas forward, ask questions, I'm also a student of this game, a student of this industry. And who the fuck am I to think I'm above doing things and testing out theories within my own market, within my own industry? So as much as I come on here every week to teach, which is absolutely the goal, I learn and I get so much more out of this than I put in. And that's what I want you guys to take away from this. This is your opportunity in your own lives, personally and professionally. Give more, and you will realize how much more you receive when you become the creator, when you contribute, and when you stop being a consumer of everybody else's ideals and start living the ideal that is your life. Another amazing episode. I'm Andy Barton. Geez, I'm Andy Weins. He's Andrew Barton. We specify Andrew Barton, and I still screw it up. I don't know who I am. I'm Andy Weins, Andrew Barton, and my co-host Casey Bubba Lawrence. I do appreciate you guys. Episode 80 of the Trash Talk Business Podcast. We're going to see you guys again next week.
Thank you again, fellas.